The Serious Sam games are some of the most insane, high-octane first-person shooter experiences ever made. If you purchase the Serious Sam collection today, you'll notice that it includes the first encounter, the second encounter, and Serious Sam 3. However, there is another Serious Sam game that is often forgotten. In 2005, after the success of the first two Sam games, Crow Team released Serious Sam 2, the best and most underrated Serious Sam game ever made. In this video, I'll explain why the gameplay, level design, art style, and tone of Serious Sam 2 make it my favorite in the series. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer: I have not played Serious Sam 4, which was released in 2020. If you think it's amazing and I should try it, let me know in the comments. Serious Sam 2 has the best gameplay in the series because of the quality of life improvements, the variety of weapons and vehicles, and the variety of enemies. Here are some of the quality of life improvements that they added in this game. First, the addition of a dedicated grenade button is so nice. It makes dealing with massive hordes of enemies much less frustrating because you can deal an insane amount of damage per second. The only other FPS I can think of that lets you shoot and throw grenades at the same time is Doom Eternal. Second, the new sprint mechanic makes the game feel much faster, although to be fair there's no reason to ever stop sprinting. Third, the sniper rifle from the second encounter returns, making distant enemies much less annoying to deal with than in the first game. Fourth, the new Klodovik weapon is extremely helpful in taking down flying enemies since it can track their movement. Fifth, vehicles essentially give you a second health bar during the most hectic encounters and also enable you to move much faster across the vast expanses of some of the levels. Speaking of weapons and vehicles, let's talk about them more in detail. All the weapons from the second encounter except the flamethrower return in Serious Sam 2, including the pistols, chainsaw, single and double-barreled shotguns, minigun, grenade launcher, rocket launcher, plasma rifle, sniper rifle, cannon, and Serious Bomb. New weapons in Serious Sam 2 include the Klodovik, the hydroplasmatic handgun, and the beam gun. This huge variety of weapons makes Serious Sam 2 exciting because you have so many options for how to approach any encounter. No one weapon is always going to be the best in every situation. Speaking of variety, this is the only Serious Sam game to include vehicles. The dinosaur in the first mission is arguably the worst example of vehicles because it has a slow attack and low health, but the later vehicles are so much more fun to use. The huge pink plasma turret is amazing. Just watch them all disintegrate into clouds of bloody mist. Look at this cannon turret. I mean, come on, this thing is just ridiculous. The spiky hamster ball is so satisfying, and the hover vehicles make some of the larger fights feel really epic. As much fun as the weapons are to use, the enemies are also just as fun to shoot. The basic orc grunts are featured in every world you visit, along with helicopters, tank monstrosities, orc footballers, missile turrets, wind-up toy rhinos, giant spiders, killer clowns, headless bombers, and so many others. Each world has their own unique enemies and bosses based on the world's theme. The first world features primitive barbarians with clubs, shields, and axes, as well as these monstrous abominations. The boss fight for this world is a giant ape named Quango, obviously a reference to King Kong. The second world features witches with cauldrons and broomsticks, three-headed dogs, and killer spiders. The boss fight for this world is a giant bee that sends out smaller bees and shoots stinger missiles at you. The third world features kung fu fighters and masters. The boss fight here is the disgusting, horrifically huge and heavy Prince Chan. The fourth world features the Clear Skeletons, an iconic enemy in every Serious Sam game. The boss fight here is Clearovsky, the Clear Wizard. The fifth world features cannon turrets and harpies, another iconic enemy from the other Serious Sam games. The boss fight here is a magical dragon named Cecil. The moon-based Kronos features a boss fight with a giant mech, and the final boss on Sirius is with an entire pyramid-shaped building running on tracks. The first 5 worlds introduce you to all the enemies and weapons, and the last 2 worlds unleash you to let loose on the countless hordes. This variety keeps Serious Sam 2 interesting throughout, and is one of the main reasons I love replaying this game. Just like the enemies, the levels in Serious Sam 2 are pretty varied. The rest of the Serious Sam games all have similar level design, typically several large arenas connected by smaller hallways. While this game has this design in many places as well, there are several unique gimmicks in different levels. For example, the third level involves defending a village from a horde of monsters. One aspect of this game that I love is that friendly NPCs will join you and help fight the enemies. On the Kronos moon base, there's one mission where you can free friendly NPCs from the various worlds you visited, and they'll join you in the fight. Another level on the Kronos moon requires the player to frequently take shelter in a warm place, or else risk freezing to death. There are a couple levels in the game where you even have to defend a moving platform from flying enemies. One of the last missions in the game includes a game show where you speed through several unique arenas, slaughtering enemies along the way. Each of these unique level gimmicks keeps the game fresh, and the boss fights also have their own gimmicks. To defeat Quango, you have to protect NPCs who do most of the fighting for you. The giant bee recharges health from these flowers, so destroying them quickly is a must. Prince Chan is sensitive to the giant gong, so shoot it for maximum damage. To defeat Klirovsky, you have to shoot these weird tower things to make a beam that prevents him from recharging. Cecil the Dragon's fight features the super jump ability, and you have to collect crossbow bolts to use against him. The boss for the Kronos Moon is a giant robot that you have to run from until you can get in this helicopter, then it's a breeze. Finally, the Mental Institution boss is the most traditional boss, being more about stamina and avoiding damage, while dealing as much damage as possible to a weak spot. All the bosses in Serious Sam 2 are different from each other, and they demonstrate the huge variety on display in this insane game. Serious Sam 2 is a bright, colorful, and vibrant game with lots of character. Every world is beautifully designed, from the mountainous jungles to the spooky swamp to the volcanic hellscape, the fantasy-themed floating islands, icy moon, and bustling metropolis. There's plenty to immerse you in this fun adventure. My personal favorite is on the second world. When you're exploring a grassy area, you can find the biggest poop that was ever pooped. The fun, bright, and popping variety on display in the art style of Serious Sam 2 reflects the silly tone of the story and gameplay. Oh boy, where to start with the story? Serious Sam was never known for brilliant storytelling, and this game does not significantly elevate it. The first games told a simple story of Sam going back in time to save the Earth from the invading hordes of Mental's army of aliens. This game takes place after the second encounter, meaning that it's actually the last game in the Serious Sam timeline, since Serious Sam 3 and 4 are prequels to the first encounter. We're greeted by 3 wizards who tell us that to defeat Mental, we have to gather all 5 pieces of a special medallion that will make Mental vulnerable. Spoiler alert here, skip to this timestamp if you want to avoid any story spoilers. Ultimately, nothing you do in the story of this game matters. It turns out the wizards are just Serious Sam fans with portal technology. The medallion doesn't really do anything. The prisoners you freed on Kronos don't even help in your invasion of the planet Sirius, and at the end, when you think you've killed Mental, it's just a voice box he was speaking through. While some people will be disappointed by this, I think it's actually a perfect encapsulation of what Serious Sam is all about. The story is just a pretext to bring you to cool environments to fight hordes of enemies in, and that's what I look for in a Serious Sam game. At the beginning and end of every level, there are little cutscenes which usually include a joke or two. Ironically, you aren't meant to take this game seriously, and that's what I love about it. It's just good fun. Take the Easter eggs, for example. In most levels, there are hidden secrets that are often hilarious. Some memorable ones include finding 2 blue aliens getting busy in a bush, this monster posing as a fake health kit, a Santa Claus that drops items when killed, and a telephone booth that's a reference to a similar one in the second encounter. Another example of the silly tone in Serious Sam 2 is the enemy design. The kamikaze's head is a bomb attached to the body on a coil, instead of a headless guy holding a bomb in each hand. The werebull is a wind-up toy rhino instead of looking like an actual bull. While individually I like the original designs better, the Serious Sam 2 versions help contribute to the hilarious and fun tone that I love about this game. The Easter eggs, cutscenes, story, and art style all convey an irreverent, joyful experience that's well worth the $10 on Steam. Serious Sam 2 was a polarizing game when it released, but I think it's the most underrated game in the series. It added several quality of life features to the combat, introduced new weapons and vehicles, and it has the most variety out of any Serious Sam game. I love this game, and you should totally check it out. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel for more gaming content. That's all for today, everyone. Peace out for now.